guys, I'm Jessie, and today I am going to talk about all the exciting sci-fi and fantasy book releases for September of 2021. This is obviously not a list of every single fantasy and sci-fi book coming out in September, but you know, these are the ones that sound good to me, that I'm excited about, and that I think you might be excited about. Some of these I had never really heard of. I don't think they have a lot of hype around them, so I'm here to try to hype them up, see about rating them myself, and just get excited for some new releases, because don't we all love new releases? I feel like somebody sent me something earlier today, and it was me buys 10 books at the bookstore, reads 3 of those, new books come out, buy 10 more. It's the never-ending TBR, because it's we read all these books, but then we want to read all the books, and there's always new ones coming out, and I'm excited. I get excited for the simplest little things, like new book releases. All right, so the first one that I am so excited for comes out on September 2nd, and that is Flames of Albion, and this is, I believe, by another booktuber, and it is by Jane Menzies. I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm terrible with that. I tried to look up pronunciations, and pronunciation guides just never work well with my brain. So, I'm very excited about this book. I think it's self-published, which is super exciting. The cover is super cool. I love the colors, and the synopsis sounds fantastic. It is a century since the monarchy was overthrown. The country of Albion has become a haven for its citizens, the young scholar Adriera included. Raised with the Albion's university walls, she has dedicated her life to the pursuit of knowledge, preferring to hole up in the library rather than seek adventure elsewhere. She has grown accustomed to her comfortable routine, until the day that everything changes. When she unwittingly awakes a sleeping dragon's egg, she is thrust into unfamiliar territory. Never having dreamed of dragons, she's forced to seek out guidance from the exhilarating Isla, last direct descendant of the royal family and companion to a centuries-old dragon. Together, they must navigate the surprises to come, for beyond the prospect of a newborn dragon, Albion is about to face a dangerous conspiracy that threatens the peace of their realm. It is a story of friendship, love, acceptance that celebrates the queer identity. Y'all, if that just doesn't hit every single one of my buzzwords, like librarian and an unwitting hero and dragons, what else do I need? It sounds fantastic, and it's a chance to support another booktuber here in the community, so I will definitely be checking this one out. I'm very excited for it, and again, it comes out on September 2nd. The next one comes out on September 7th, and that is The Shadowed Flame by Naomi Hughes. This one just really piqued my interest with the synopsis, because it's something that I don't think I've seen or heard of in modern fantasy or any books that I've read, really. So it says that this is a young YA, so perfect for fans of Percy Jackson. So kind of on that middle grade YA border, which are very hit or miss books for me. I usually like them, but these are usually ones that I read and pass on to either my nieces or I save for my daughter. So we'll see how this one goes. And the synopsis is, Jackson Harper slays monsters on the sly. He is a unicorn rider, defender of the territory, but he has to keep a secret because technically he's supposed to be pure of heart to be approved for a unicorn bond. His shady past rules that out. If the authorities catch him now, his monster-slaying dream job is all over. But when a snake dragon battle gets out of hand, he's forced to get help from a real rider. She used to be his best friend and unrequited crush. Now she's duty-bound to turn him into the Unicorn Regiment. Okay, I don't think I have seen anything about unicorn riders. people riding unicorns and fighting with them. Like, that right there just kind of piqued my interest. So I'm really excited to see like what this is all about, what I think of it, because that just sounds really interesting. The next one is also coming out on September 7th, and that is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina. Hopefully I said that right as well. My Spanish is a little rusty. And this is by Zordina Cordova. And I've never read any of Zordina Cordova's other books, but I've heard like really good things about them, and this one just sounded really cool. It's the Montoyas are used to a life without explanation. They know better than to ask why the pantry never seems to run low, get empty, and why their matriarch won't ever leave their home in Four Rivers, even for graduations, weddings, baptisms. But when Orquídea Divina invites them to her funeral and to collect their inheritance, they hope to learn the secrets that she has held on to so tightly her whole life. Instead, she is transformed, leaving them with more questions than answers. 7 years later, her gifts have manifested in different ways for the family, including special blessings, but soon, a hidden figure begins to tear through their family tree, picking them off one by one as it seeks to destroy their family line. Like, that just sounds really cool. Like, for one, how do you get an invitation to a funeral, like, from a person that's still alive? That right there was like, this lady just invited her family, like, hey, come to my funeral, and then, like, transforms into something and, like, passes on her gifts. So I'm like, this just sounds super cool. And I'm really excited to get to this one, and the cover, again, is super pretty. Next, we have another September 7th release, and that is Among Thieves by M.J. Kuhn. This is a thrilling fantasy debut with high-stakes heist set in a gritty world of magic and malice, and it says it's perfect for fans of Six of Crows. I have not yet read Six of Crows, but a heist in a gritty world, like, to me, that sounds very, like, Mistborn-esque, and I know, like, Six of Crows gets compared to Mistborn a lot, so I think I'm gonna like Six of Crows as well. So like that's literally all I needed to know about this book in order to be like, oh, I want to read that. I'm gonna put that on the list. And it just sounds like a good time, a good dark gritty heist story. Please sign me up for that. The next one is again a September 7th release, and it is Bones of Ruin by Sarah Rogley. This is the first book in a new series, and the synopsis for this book is, as an African tightrope dancer in Victorian London, Iris is used to being strange. She's certainly a strange sight for leering British audiences who are always eager for the spectacle of colonial curiosity. But Iris also has a secret that even strange doesn't capture. She cannot die. That's all. That's it. That's all I needed to know, because tightrope walker. It seems very circusy, and y'all know I've been loving circus books lately, like Girl Made of Air and The Night Circus. Like any circusy like feeling book, I'm down for. So that's all I really needed to know, and I want to read this. The next book comes out on September 20th, and that is The Bookbinder's Daughter by Jessica Thorne. Again, this is kind of like up my alley when it comes to books about like libraries and books about stories and stuff like that. It gave me very Starless Sea vibes from the synopsis. So again, this one just sounds right up my alley. The synopsis says, a song surrounded her now, the murmuring of the library insistent, and her foot took the first step on the winding stairs. She knew it wasn't entirely a dream. It was the library calling her. It's the magic driving her. When Sophie is offered a job at the library, the finest collection of rare books in the world, and the last place her bookbinder mother was seen when Sophie was just a teenager, she leaps at the chance. Will she finally discover what happened to the woman she's always believed abandoned her? Like, it's got a magical library, y'all. Mysterious magical library. Like, what else? Nothing else. That's it. That is the end of synopsis for me, and I'm sold. The next book comes out on the 21st of September, and that is The Iron Widow by Zirin J. Zhao. Again, pronunciation. Hopefully. I tried. The synopsis sounds really cool on this one, too. It is, the boys of Huxia dream of pairing up with girls to pilot chrysalises, giant transforming robots that can battle the mech aliens that lurk beyond the Great Wall. It doesn't matter that the girls often die from mental strain. When 18-year-old Zetian offers herself up as a concubine pilot, it is to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. But she gets her vengeance in a way nobody expects. She kills him through the psychic link between Pilot and emerges from the cockpit unscathed. She's labeled an Iron Widow, a much feared and much silenced kind of female pilot who can sacrifice boys to power up the chrysalises instead. Whoo! If that doesn't sound really cool, I don't know what is. Like, that just sounds fascinating. And look at that cover, right? Like, the cover is stunning. This next one is also coming out on the 21st, and that is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. Honestly, I could know nothing about this book other than it's the same author that wrote House in the Cerulean Sea, and I'd be good because I loved House in the Cerulean Sea so much that, like, anything else he writes, I'm gonna be interested in. I'm not super interested to go back into his backlist. Like, I know he has, I think it's Wolfsong, but it's more of like a romance, like a fantasy romance, and like I'm not super into that. His other one, The Extraordinaries, did sound really good, so I might go back and read this one, but I'm more excited about his more like magical realism fantasy. Like, this sounds very similar in feel to House in the Cerulean Sea. It says, Under the Whispering Door is a contemporary fantasy with TJ Klune's signature quirk and charm, about a ghost who refuses to cross over and the ferryman he falls in love with. Like, I don't even need to continue the synopsis. It just sounds very House in the Cerulean Sea. It just sounds so good, and I'm just here for it. The next one comes out on September 28th, and that is Wake of the Phoenix by Chelsea Harper. The synopsis for this one is War Hero, Thief Master's Apprentice, Traitors. Every title comes with a price. Archaon is a saint. He sacrificed his childhood innocence fighting for the rebellion in a civil war and relinquished a comfortable life with the man he loves to reclaim place as High Lord from corrupt nobles. Now, an enemy is manipulating his lower lords into talk of rebellion, including the powerful rogue Baron, who's slowly swaying the city into questioning everything that Archaon makes. With the help of his near-omniscient lover's gift of foresight, he finds a potential ally in a reluctant thief trying to pay for her brother's education. Like, look. You've got some rebellion during the rebellion, some extra rebellion, and some corrupt lords, and a thief, and traitors, and like, sold, sounds great, sign me up, like, and the cover, done. Also coming out on the 28th of September is Dark Rise by C.S. Pacat. This is also the first book in a series. It says, the ancient world of magic is no more. Its heroes are dead, its halls are ruins, its great battles between light and dark are forgotten. Only the stewards remember, and they keep their centuries-long vigil, sworn to protect humanity if the Dark King ever returns. 16-year-old dock boy Will is on the run, pursued by the men who killed his mother. When an old servant tells him of his destiny to fight beside the stewards, Will is ushered into a world of magic where he must train to play a vital role in the oncoming battle against the dark. Ooh. Like that, again, that's just right up my alley. Like, reluctant hero, forces of darkness, like, I don't know how much else to say other than read these synopses. All right. We're getting down to the last ones, and the second to last book, also coming out on the 28th of September, is Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone. This says it is a lush gothic fantasy about monsters and magic, set on the banks of a cursed lake, perfect for fans of Naomi Novik and Bridget Kemmerer. That right there, like, it's a dark fantasy story with monsters, like, it sounds so cool. And it says, when Violetta arrives at a haunted lakeside estate, she expects to find a monster. She knows the terrifying rumors about Rowan, who drowned his entire family when he was a boy, but neither the estate nor the monster are what they seem. As Letta falls for Rowan, she discovers he is bound to the Lord Under, the sinister death god lurking beneath the black waters of the lake. a creature whom Letta is inexplicably drawn. Now, to save Rowan and herself, Letta must confront the darkness in her past, including unraveling the mystery of her connection to the Lord Under. Ooh. Dark, gritty, romance, fantasy, monsters. Perfect. And the final book coming out on the 28th of September is The Orphan Witch by Paige Crutcher. I feel like this may be a Hades and Persephone-esque retelling just because the main girl's name is Persephone, and I've never seen someone use that name without it being like kind of tied to Hades and Persephone, so we'll see. It says, Persephone has been alone her entire life. Abandoned as an infant, dragged through the foster care system, she wants nothing more than to belong somewhere to someone. However, she is as strange as she is lonely. Unexplained things happen when she's around. Changes in weather, inanimate objects taking flight, and those who seek to bring her into their family quickly cast her out. To cope, she never gets attached, never makes friends. And she certainly never dates. Working odd jobs and always keeping her suitcases half packed. Persephone is used to moving around, leaving one town for another when curiosity over her eccentric behavior inevitably draws unwanted attention. After an accidental and very public display of power, she knows it's time to move on once again. It's lucky then when she receives an email from one friend she's managed to keep, inviting her to the exclusive Weil Isle. The timing couldn't be more perfect. However, upon arrival, she quickly discovers that Weil is no ordinary island. In fact, it just might hold the very thing she's been searching for her entire life. Answers, family, and home. That just sounds so cool. I don't know why I'm drawn to these like stories where people have like, you know, powers that they don't want, or like they can't control their powers, stuff like that. Like it always draws me in. Like it's like a mystery in a fantasy, and like I'm sold on that. It just sounds right up my alley. Once again, obviously these are books I'm excited about, so they all sound right up my alley. All right, well, that is all of the books that I'm super excited for in the month of September. Let me know what your thoughts on any of these are. If there's some other books coming out in September that you're excited about that I missed, just let me know and we'll have a good time chatting in the comments below. All right, my name is Jessie and I will talk to you next time. Bye.